Coming up on Wake Up NonStop Local, shuttle bus swipe, a close call in Colorado when thieves steal a shuttle bus. Video from inside showing the getaway driver behind the wheel.
This is a perfect disguise, too.
Where officers are searching this morning with the suspect still on the run.
Also this morning, signed, sealed, and delivered. The president now expected to sign a bill to release the Epstein Files as soon as it hits his desk.
My colleagues are going to do everything we can to make sure all of it comes to light.
I think this is an overdue moment.
The timeline and when you could see the unclassified files straight ahead.
Most of our November so far has been warm and it has been wet. Well, today we flipped the script. It's going to be dry. We're going to get some sunshine, but the temperatures will still be cold. We'll tell you just how cool it's going to be in your forecast.
We've got everything you need to know to pick out your tires for the winter next on Wake Up NonStop Local.
Wake up, you gotta rise to the sun, and here it comes, it's time to make the best of what you got to give. It's all about rising, and I wanna be there.
Here's a live look from Les Schwab, where they're getting ready for the big switch over to winter driving conditions, just like other tire shops across the inland Northwest right now. Thanks for joining us here on Wake Up NonStop Local. I'm Kalai Chalk.
And I'm Sam Adams. It is the calm before the storm. We don't know when that storm is going to come right now, but we can tell you the snow's not yet on the ground, but now's the time to start getting ready. We're going to have a live report from inside the tire shop coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, with a look at what things are going to look like today, let's get over to the Weather Center.
All right, Justin Spinney is in for Jenny Power. Good morning, Justin.
Good morning. Good to be with you guys. And yeah, fortunately, no worry of snow today whatsoever. Despite that, though, temperatures are getting a little bit cooler. But hey, positive side of that is we're going to have some really nice November sunshine as we head later into the day today. Definitely a cold start for many of us, though. We have a little low cloud deck that hung over parts of eastern Washington and North Idaho. Really north of the Palouse is where that cloud deck sat. So as a result, we saw temperatures just a little bit warmer than initially expected, keeping us above the freezing line for areas like Spokane and Coeur d'Alene in the upper 30s right now. Compare that to what we're seeing down toward Pullman and Moscow, 28 degrees currently on the Palouse. Very cold temperatures there, and we're currently sitting right at freezing over toward Moses Lake. So what can we expect here over the next few days? We're going to be in a period of pretty dry weather all the way through about Friday. Some nice sunshine today. We'll start out with a few more clouds tomorrow morning. Those should start to work their way out, though, and I think we'll see the sunshine once again throughout our Thursday. By Friday, even though we're going to be staying dry, we are going to see some more cloud cover work its way in, and that's because as we head toward this next weekend, we are going to get a little bit more moisture headed our way, so we'll see some really weak spotty shower chances over the weekend with a better burst of rain as we head Sunday night into early Monday morning. But next week, guys, that's where the headline is right now, because temperatures are going to start getting a lot colder. We'll talk more about that coming up.
Okay, see you soon. Thanks, Spinney. Well, new information now on the late night crash that we brought to you as breaking news at 11. We're now learning only one vehicle was involved and one person was inside that vehicle.
This happened on Sprague Avenue near Havana in Spokane Valley. No one was hurt. Sprague Avenue is back open this morning. The former wife of NASA astronaut and Spokane native Ann McClain has now pleaded guilty to lying to law enforcement.
And that's according to the U.S. Attorney's Office for Southern Texas. In 2019, Summer Warden accused McClain of illegally accessing her bank records from on board the International Space Station. It was a claim that made headlines for being the first criminal allegation against someone in space. Now, Warden claimed that McClain had guessed the password to her bank account, but federal investigators found that the two had shared access to that account for years.
McClain was ultimately cleared. Warden was charged with making 2 false claims. She'll now be sentenced by a federal judge in Houston, Texas in February. She faces up to 5 years in prison and a possible $250,000 fine. Taking a live look this morning from Second Harvest Food Bank in Spokane, where they have now received a much-needed boost from Spokane County this week following that government shutdown.
Commissioners approved $100,000 from its Housing and Community Development Fund for Second Harvest and putting more food on the shelves. Second Harvest says it's still seeing an influx of people who are anxious after losing access to government benefits.
So a government shutdown, who anticipated that? 6 months ago, we certainly weren't expecting that. So we're always pedaling as fast as we can. Right now, need is relatively high. Holidays are a little more stressful, and whatever we can do to relieve that is really important. But at the same time, come January, we're still going to be working to try to get food to people.
Second Harvest thanks volunteers and donors who've given time, money, and food. They say that help is still needed as they transition into the holiday season.
On this vote, the yeas are 427, the nays are 1. 2/3 being in the affirmative, the rules are suspended, the bill is passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
President Trump is expected to sign the Epstein Files Transparency Act today. As soon as it gets to his desk, both branches of Congress passed the measure yesterday. Now, his signature is the only thing standing between the release of all unclassified files related to the late Jeffrey Epstein and his sex crimes against girls.
The president had resisted backing this bill for months before a pivot, saying Sunday that he would sign it. He, meantime, slammed the convicted sex offender during his recent visit with the Saudi crown prince.
As far as the Epstein Files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. But I guess I turned out to be right.
The two were photographed together through the 1980s and 1990s before they had a falling out in the 2000s.
Epstein was arrested in 2019 and died by suicide in his prison cell months later. Once President Trump signs the bill, the DOJ will now have 30 days to release the files. Well, here's a live look from atop the Washington Monument this morning. Several high-profile business CEOs are expected at the John F. Kennedy Center for the Saudi Investment Forum. It comes after a White House visit yesterday from the Saudi Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman.
Speakers from both the United States and Saudi Arabia will be talking about a wide variety of topics, from AI and technology to education and health, and how they can contribute to an ever-emerging partnership. The forum also comes on the heels of that massive $600 billion Saudi investment back in May into the United States. That includes AI and transportation. During that meeting yesterday, the Crown Prince now saying that amount would be increased to nearly $1 trillion. The NTSB has now released findings of its investigation into the deadly Key Bridge collapse in Baltimore.
Officials say a breaker on the ship tripped when a label blocked a connection on a single wire, causing the blackout that led the ship to slam into the bridge, killing 6 people.
It was to fit right in here to ensure you had connection for the system, and it just didn't fit. So it became disconnected, it backed out. Sometimes it would hit the face of the spring clamp, but there were significant issues as a result of this.
The timeline to rebuild the bridge is now stretching into 2030.
And with that, it has an estimated price tag of upwards of $5 billion. Caught on camera, authorities searching right now for 2 people who stole this bus and hit a police car. This happened in Colorado. You're looking at new video showing that incident from back on October 10th. One of the suspects nearly crashing the vehicle into first responders at a crash site while trying to get away.
Now, Clear Creek County deputies say the pair stole the bus after ditching a car that they escaped a traffic stop in. They eventually found the bus abandoned in Denver. They've since issued a warrant for the female suspect, and they're still trying to identify the driver.
Well, this morning we're getting you ready for wintertime driving and booking those ultimately needed tire appointments.
NonStop Local's Noah Bolter is live this morning at Les Schwab with a closer look at what you'll need for winter driving.
Well, Sam, Clay, we're trying to answer some of those questions for the people at home that they may be having heading into the snow season. We have some tires back here, and we want to talk about the conversation between studded versus non-studded tires. We have Carol Anderson here with Les Schwab. So, Carol, when would you recommend someone in our region use a studded tire versus a non-studded?
So definitely recommend a studded tire if you're dealing with a lot of ice. So if you live on a hill or you're in a heavily shaded area that doesn't get a lot of sunlight, that ice is going to build up and you're definitely going to want a stud in that situation.
Okay, so what if we've determined, all right, so non-studded are the tires that I'm going to be looking for. What should I look for if I have an SUV versus a sedan?
Okay. If we're doing more of an SUV, we're going to want something with a strong shoulder. So we're going to want to look for something that's going to get a little bit better stability. Whereas if we have a smaller car, we want something that's going to flex.
Okay, so more of a rounded edge for a smaller car, maybe that sedan. For the SUV, something a little bit more rough around the edges. Now, when I'm going to do some tire shopping, am I able to just get 2 tires? Do I need to get 4? What's the recommendation?
Most of the time we do recommend doing 4 tires just to get you the better traction, but it does vary per vehicle, so you're welcome to give us a call or come in and we can set a recommendation for you.
And as far as making an appointment, how booked out are you right now? If I show up today, can I get some tires?
Yeah, we're definitely taking walk-ins at this moment, but as soon as the weatherman says snow, it's going to get pretty crazy. So we definitely recommend giving us a call, and we'll set you up an appointment.
The race is on to beat the weatherman. Spinny, we have until your next weather segment in order to get it in. For now, live in Spokane, Noah Bolter, NonStop Local.
All right, yeah, speaking of Justin Spinney, we asked him, when is the first snowfall expected? Seems like we've seen it this time already in years past.
Yeah, so Justin, we're not going to put you on the spot and ask you when that first snow is going to fall, but we are going to put you on the spot as far as trends, and it feels like we are behind schedule right now for snowfall.
Hey, you're absolutely right with that, Sam. And yeah, no snow right now in my 7-day forecast whatsoever. That probably won't change too long after the 7-day forecast, though. But taking a climatological picture of when we typically see snow in the inland northwest. Big picture view here, light blue low elevation areas. That's where we typically see snow, or at least measurable snow, in November. Where we have the higher elevations, the slightly darker blue, we usually see some snow in October. For many of our mountain locations, that was the case, but even up at the mountains, we haven't had very much snow at all. It's been just too warm so far. Speaking about Spokane specifically, our average first day of measurable snow, meaning a 1/10 of an inch or more, is November 13th. We are behind that at this point. The latest we've ever seen our first day of snow, a huge outlier here, January 19th, way back in 1902. Last year, in case you were wondering, our first day of measurable snow was November 16th. So we're also past that point. November 16th last year, we got just a little over an inch of snow in Spokane. So things definitely taking their time this year. But again, some changes, especially toward the end of next week, could give us some of our first glimpses of some valley snow. That window is open. Still might have to wait just a little bit though, guys.
All right, yeah. Okay, thank you. A lot of people are excited. A lot of people aren't. That's what you get when you live in 4 seasons. Justin, thanks. Here's a live look from Olympia this morning, where lawmakers are considering new legislation that would bar the use of non-compete agreements for all employers. Those contracts are used to prevent employees from taking another job with a competitor or starting a related business within a certain period of time.
Now, the president of the Washington State Association for Justice says that these non-compete agreements put workers in an unfair position in what is already a tough job market.
So what it does, it usually suppresses their wages. It makes it so they have fewer opportunities in already a difficult job market. And sometimes it forces them to move out of the area, uproot kids, uproot family, because the employer just doesn't want them working.
Advocates, meantime, argue that non-compete agreements protect a company's business interests. That includes trade secrets and customer relationships. The bill is sponsored by Representative Liz Berry of Seattle. It will now get public hearings in January.
Trader Joe's is coming to Spokane Valley, and shoppers are excited. City says that this was a strategic get, 10 years in the making.
Community and Economic Development Director Mike Basinger says that the city has spent years now trying to lure a natural grocer and sees the addition of Trader Joe's as an opportunity to draw in more shoppers from outside Spokane Valley.
I think that Trader Joe's in your community actually makes your community more attractive. It also will promote growth around the Trader Joe's, so we can anticipate seeing other businesses wanting to locate in that area just based on foot traffic.
Joe's will fill out the remaining portion of the old Shopco location. That's on East Sprague in Spokane Valley. No announced date has been made for opening day. All right, more to come here on Wake Up NonStop Local. We're keeping an eye on the sky.
And those skies so far, quiet. They're going to stay quiet through the rest of the day, and really pretty quiet over the next few days, but things will start to change a little bit this weekend as we head closer to what we've seen for most of November, a bit of a warmer and wetter pattern. We'll talk about those pattern changes coming up next.